I can't wait for someone to ask Al Davis a question and he responds, because I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Welcome to Fool's Ball, the headquarters of the National Senior Flag Football Olympic Team. And to both sides of me, wait.
You didn't show yourself, you showed Dave.
You never looked better, Dougie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you got taller somehow.
Wow, this is weird.
A little bit wider.
Now I'm over here.
Yeah.
He's all over the
Now
place,
I'm over
literally. There we go.
Wow, that was the best intro we probably had so far.
No technical difficulties at all.
No, that's actually exactly how we planned it to be.
What's our logo?
Everything goes according to plan here at the Center for the National Senior Flag Football Alliance. And congratulations to all the flag footballers of the world. Your jobs are now being taken by Jamar Chase. So this episode, we're going to talk about the AFC East schedule predictions, what the teams are going to do, who's going to be good. Chief Greengrass, let's go to you first because you are apparently the host of the show today, according to the technology. What are you looking forward to when we're looking at this division?
There's one team that's highly predictable. They've done it every year, and the rest is going to be an interesting hot mess. It's going to be fun trying to figure out the ups and downs of the other three.
Good, you're in the middle now. Okay, now Neckbeard. Yes. Now Neckbeard's in the center. Okay, Neckbeard, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, the AFC East is hard to find wins. Like, none of the teams I think are super terrible, but none of them are good enough to where I don't know what to pick for them for wins. It's so hard. You guys will see when we pull up the schedule that we have
no idea what we're doing.
We had kind of similar win totals, but it was all over the place. Because
let's look at it.
Yeah,
there it is.
Well, the Bills are easy because they're great.
The Athletic ran an article this week that said the Bills are the only team that's projected to win every single game. They're favored in every game.
Yeah, they are. Dude, they're going to win a lot of games. We all know it. Like, they're, apart from injuries, the Bills are going to have the 1 or the 2 seed, maybe the 3 if the Ravens go crazy or somebody else. But, I think that's their floor is the 3 seed, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so everyone knows the Bills are good. Just like the Eagles, regular season Bills are really hard to beat. So where do we disagree? I mean, Kansas City, I didn't pick that one. You guys did. That's a flop. Houston, I didn't pick that one. You guys did. But then I picked Philly.
Miami,
so, yeah. I mean, we got a lot of wins there, guys. We got a lot of wins there. You know what I mean? And Cheap thinks they're going to lose to the Dolphins somehow. But, hey, it's a division game. So do you, Doug. You guys both gave the Dolphins a win.
We think they're going to beat the Eagles, though.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to win 13 games, 12 games, whatever. It's so easy.
It's going to be at Miami. It's still going to be hot. It's still going to be muggy.
Yeah.
They're used to playing in Buffalo, so they're not going to be used to that's still the advantage. After that is when it starts to cool down in Miami. Yeah. That's when Josh McDaniels kind of loses his edge.
So it's funny. We all have him starting fucking 5-0 and then losing to Atlanta. How about that? We all picked them losing to Atlanta. Wow.
Who in the world did that?
Well, that's random as heck. Watch, we all have Atlanta with 5 wins and we gave 1 to the Bills.
We have to pick one screwy game.
That's crazy. It's crazy we all picked that game.
No, Darnell Mooney, man. It's all about Darnell Mooney all day long, baby.
Well, it's because they won 5 in a row already. They're going to eventually lose a game, right?
Yeah, so right. Or Bijan runs wild on them. No, I think Atlanta's a tough team, but we'll see when we get to Atlanta. But yeah, 12 wins, 13 wins. They could have 14. If the Bills won 15, I wouldn't be surprised, right?
In Atlanta, baby. It's going to be hot. But the Bills could be a team like the Chiefs last year that goes undefeated. They could freaking do it and then lose in the first round of the playoffs. I mean,
it was hard to find losses for the Bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every other team in this division was hard to find wins. It was hard to find L's for the Bills. And it's funny, we picked Atlanta and at New England week 15. We all agreed on that. Wow. Well, that's destiny.
But yeah, the Bills, they drafted hard in the defense, which is where their gaps are. The offense is perfectly fine, but they had a solid draft. They got a defensive-minded coach. He's going to be able to coach them up.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
They have a good offensive line. They have a decent running game. They got decent enough weapons, and Josh Allen's going to be an MVP candidate. Simple, easy. 13 wins, 12 wins, 14 wins. They're going to be in the playoff picture. We all know it.
And also Josh Allen might win the MVP this year if he does it again with all these no-name receiver guys, which won't be no names as much. But if he keeps it up, like they're gonna feel like they have to give him the MVP if he just keeps winning with all these random who throw in the freaking janitor, throw in the dude off the street, one of his best friends, and he just throws touchdown passes to him.
I think Shakir's pretty good. Their wide receiver.
Shakir's a solid safety blanket. They got a fantastic running back. They just forget to the second half of playoff games.
Yeah. No, and they're always in those second halves, and then they find a way to blow it. That's what everybody wants to see, them continue to play this good in the playoffs, and they have that moment every year. And they gave Josh Palmer a bunch of money, which I don't know if that does anything for him, but, he's an okay wide receiver. I think they picked up Elijah Moore. Is that correct, too? He's decent. So, I mean, Josh Allen kind of reminds me of like the old Brett Favre Packers. He's just going to wing it, man. He's going to sling it. He's going to wing it. He's going to make plays. Like you could have your Uncle Tom out there and they're still going to put up 30 points.
That's what I'm saying. The MVP voters love that stuff. They're like, what? You're going to win games and throw 40 touchdowns with any guy we put on the field? Like that's the Brett Favre vibe for sure.
Yeah.
And with Favre, it was always the announcers always say by the end of the first quarter, he's completed passes to 7 different wide receivers or players.
Yeah.
I remember putting up with that for a decade, and our quarterback didn't make squat.
In your memory.
But yeah, they have a lot of options out there. No one's, it's like the Green Bay.
And there's a John Madden movie coming out this year. Okay. So
there's a John Madden.
Or in your favorite actor.
Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Nicolas Cage.
Of course. Yes. Wait, does he play Al Davis?
Yeah, no.
He plays Madden?
Think about it. Have you seen the picture of him?
He should play Al Davis. Wait, who's playing Al Davis?
No, John.
Hold on.
You got to see the movie right now. Hold on.
This is fantastic content right here.
Yeah. Oh, I can see it. I see it. I can see it. I mean, he definitely needs to gain a lot more weight. So wait, who's playing Al Davis there? Who is that?
Hold on. I got to present this so everybody can see.
Yes.
I feel like he might be a better Al Davis. I'm just saying.
This is Nick Cage. And look at who's next to him.
It's Christian Bale. Oh my God, Batman. Hey, dude, he looks pretty good there.
That does not look bad.
That looks pretty good, man. For Al Davis, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
That looks pretty dang good.
Dude, I can't
have you ever seen Christian Bale and Nick Cage on the screen together? I don't think we have.
No. Dude, I can't wait for someone to ask Al Davis a question and he responds, because I'm not wearing hockey pants.
This movie could be amazing. It could be a freaking... It could be the greatest football movie of all time.
That's awesome. All right, I'm pumped now.
All right, we'll go back to real football. But that movie could be a complete dumpster fire or amazing.
Hey, Nicolas Cage is a legend. The dude had a pyramid in his house. Like he can do whatever the hell he wants.
I mean, if you pick 2 actors that are most just off the wall insane people, they might be the 2 that you pick.
Yeah, I think Nick Cage is definitely number 1.
They're the most dedicated actors you can imagine. They'll just be like, I need to spend 80 days in a pit with some snakes to prepare for this movie. Okay, I'll do it. Both of them are that guy.
I think Christian Bale could be up there, but there's a couple other names that come to mind. But I think Cage being number 1 is pretty much
it's just like Christian Bale doesn't talk about it that much, but he's like the most serious guy ever. He will do anything.
All right. Well, we should have brought this up when we were talking about the AFC West, but let's move on to another team. So the AFC East. All right, who we got? Oh, that Dolphins. Man, okay. I really don't want Mike McDaniel to get fired because he is my favorite coach to watch on TV. He is so hilarious at the podium, and he's smart, and he's funny, and his offense looks good, but the Dolphins are a mess, man.
Does he hit the desk too when he talks? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I keep hitting the desk, folks. They keep telling me not to.
We don't need to see your mic.
That's right. That's right.
This episode is already off the rails. It's already off the rails.
I think Neckbeard, you've got some of the Mike Daniels energy. You know what I mean? You guys are on the same vibe.
I need a desk made of soft John Madden pillows. That's what I need.
I think Mike Daniels definitely pounds the table when he talks to his team. He's just
somebody send me a pillow with Nick Cage's face on it. I already have a couple, but let's add to the collection. So anyway, all right, let's talk about the Dolphins. Dude, look at none of us picked the same games except for the Saints, which seems pretty obvious, right? The Saints, but like we're all over the map because the Dolphins are all over the map. We don't know what their team is going to be. They have all these salary cap issues. Ramsey wants out. Like we don't know if Tua's going to stay healthy. Achane always gets hurt. Like Tyreek Hill wants out of town. Like what are the Dolphins this year, right? Like, again, I love Mike McDaniel. I hope they win 8 or 9 games and he can stick around. But, man, I had a hard time finding wins here. And I don't think they're a terrible team. They
could be a playoff team if they play as up to their potential.
I mean, their defense is not as bad, but they lost their best safety. They didn't really replace them, right? Their offensive line is still in shambles. I don't think they're going to be terrible, but I don't see what they do better than other teams. Like a couple of years ago when they were scoring 30 points, they had all this speed, right? And Tua was throwing lasers, that guys were taking for huge yak yards, and Achane was just blasting off 40-yard runs.
Well, they got Kenneth Grant on their team. I mean,
that'll help a little bit on defense, but I don't see how the Dolphins make the playoffs this year. I just don't.
And they got a guard. I don't know. Yeah. Their offensive line needs to play better. That's why they're only getting.
Like Indy's not a good team. I can see that. New England's not a great team, but that's hard to give them the W. They're not going to beat the Bills, right? The Jets aren't a great team, but those, Carolina, the Chargers, Atlanta, their schedule's not even terrible, but it's really hard to find W's for the Dolphins here. I think the fact that we're 7-6-7, but we're all over the map tells you everything you need to know. The Dolphins are hard to figure out.
There's a group of teams like these guys that where you're not sure where to give wins to all these other teams, because if you don't give, like we're having them lose to the Browns, but who else are the Browns going to beat this year? Like, are they going to not win a game? So you have to pick somebody for them.
You got to pick some random wins and losses. Like I got the Dolphins beating Baltimore, because I'm like, well, Baltimore's not going to go undefeated, but like the Dolphins aren't great. Like, I don't know. It's a Thursday night game.
I have them beating Buffalo, and Dave does too, because it's just it's an AFC East game.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe the Saints beat the crap out of the Dolphins for all we know. Like, I don't know what the Dolphins are going to be, but I feel like they're in the 7-win realm. I don't know what else to say about the Dolphins. They are really hard to figure out.
It's tough because their quarterback and his injuries too. Like he could be out for the whole season after the first game. So there's just so many question marks here. Mike Daniels and the Dolphins were like the hot team 2 years ago or whatever, right? And now, and I never really believed in Tua. I never thought he was the guy. Partially because if he's running around getting hit all the time, like I don't know what it is. Like there's a reason NFL teams really like big body, big quarterbacks, because they give you not only the big arm, but they give you that feeling of like they're going to survive.
I mean, I think Tua is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a carry the team kind of quarterback.
No, not really.
Do you know what I mean? Like Jaden Daniels showed he could do it. Josh Allen could obviously do it, right? Patrick Mahomes, those guys. Like Tua seems to me more like a San Francisco 49er style quarterback. Do you know what I mean? That like if he has talent around him, he can distribute extremely well.
I feel like Dolphins, he's like Russell Wilson without the running.
Well, and the Dolphins did put talent around him with Hill and Waddle and Achane, obviously, right? But Hill hasn't been the same. He's slowing down a little bit. Achane's always hurt. Waddle still has good numbers, but like their offense just isn't explosive like it was before. And I think the offensive line is the main problem. It's just not good. It's just not a good offensive line.
And when the line's not blocking for Tua, he's not. He's too finesse.
And if any quarterback other than Joe Burrow needs an offensive line to protect him, it's probably Tua, because he's gotten all those injuries. Do you know what I mean? Dave, I think you muted yourself, Chief Greengrass. We can't hear you, Chief. Did you mute yourself?
Still can't hear Greengrass.
Oh man, no technical difficulties here on the set of
first he took over the show, and now he can't even let us listen.
It's because he took over the show. You muted him, didn't you, Hype? You muted
I don't know how he became. Yeah, he's doing on me. You might want to change your microphone there, Chief Greengrass.
Guys, for the first time, we did an audio check before this episode. We've never done an audio check before. And that's why nothing is working, because we actually tried to do an audio check.
We had a whole meeting about many things, and none of those results are showing up here.
All right, Chief, try talking again.
While Chief figures that out, we're going to switch it over to the
Jets. We're going to the Jets. Chief, unplug your microphone and plug it back in. All right, he's gone. We kicked him out. All right,
nobody cares about the Jets anyway, so it doesn't even matter if he's here.
Yeah, well, Chief has 7 wins for the Jets, and now we can see Technical difficulties episode.
What is
AFC
happening?
East. I'm really glad we got to see your ceiling tiles, Chief.
Yeah, and all his lights and things, his gizmos.
Okay.
He has as many lights and light holders as the Jets have wins here.
Yeah, I saw about 6 up there. You're right. I saw quite a few light holders up there. So we got the Jets all beating Carolina. We got the Jets all beating Miami. We got the Jets, Hype, you got them beating the Bills on the last week of the season, which is possible. Maybe the Bills already wrapped up the number one and they just sit guys.
Yeah,
right?
That's part of it. But also just like the Jets are one of those teams that's like them and the Dolphins, they always beat like some team like the Bills randomly when they're not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly think Aaron Glenn is going to do a good job. I think their defense is going to be better. I think they're going to run the football more. I think Justin Fields is not a bad fit for them, but I just don't know what they're going to be. And with their schedule, I can't see them winning a lot of these games against, Cincinnati, Baltimore, even Jacksonville. I think at Jacksonville would be tough for them. So, but in their division, even though I don't think a ton of New England or Miami, I think they're still going to struggle in their division. Buffalo's obviously probably going to run over them a little bit, but maybe they surprise us. The Jets are one of those teams that I could see being kind of like the Steelers, Doug, where you don't expect a lot from them. They don't have a lot of offense, but they end up winning 8, maybe 9 games, maybe surprising people. So, Chief, let's see if you can talk yet about the Jets. What are you doing there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there he is. He's back.
The Jets.
You're kind of quiet, though. You might want to get closer to the mic. I don't know.
His mic's in the ceiling tile, Doug, where everything else was.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Jets, I was never really a fan of their quarterback.
You mean the former Bears #1 Super Bowl champion Justin Fields, the guy that was going to change the whole dynasty?
13th or 15th, and everyone was all excited. We
Yeah.
were 4-4 in the year with Andy Dalton, and then all of a sudden they put in Fields, and we finished 0-8.
Yeah,
he had the same exact roster. Everyone tried to say they didn't build the offense around him to succeed. They gave him an NFL offense. He couldn't make a read. Darnell Mooney went from being 1,000-yard wide receiver to 600 yards. He goes off to Atlanta this year. He does great. But what we did learn with DJ Moore in his last year and Cole Kmet in their last year with Justin Fields is he's good if he has one wide receiver and one tight end, and then he can run.
Yeah.
The Jets have set him up fantastically with that system. They have Garrett Wilson. They drafted a tight end who's not really going to be a good blocker, but he's going to give them a receiving option. Right. And they solidified that line, so they have 5 solid guys. So I think the Jets with Aaron Glenn's going to get that defense back to where it needs to be. He did miracles with Detroit last year.
Yeah.
Where they lost guys, he was able to fill in the gaps. They got some talent on that defense for them. Justin Fields only has to score 21 points to have a chance. And that's why, I don't expect them to do great, but I don't expect him to turn the ball over that much. Hopefully, he was able to go 4-2 last year with the Steelers. He didn't score much, but he didn't turn the ball over. It's a similar system that he had. I believe that he might actually be in a place. He's not looking over his shoulder. There's no, they gave him a 2-year contract for $40 million. It's a nice chunk of change. It's not $50 million a year, but it's still good enough to where it's a good dress rehearsal. See how you do this year. It's all on you, whether we go out and get someone next year, or maybe we draft you a wide receiver next year. So I think they did a lot to set him up to succeed. It's not going to be a dynamic offense, but it doesn't need to be for the Jets.
Justin Fields should be throwing for 175 yards and running for 85 yards every game. He should not be throwing for 300 yards ever. Justin Fields' most dangerous self is when he's running the ball 7 or 8 times a game. He is really hard to stop. He's really agile. He set the record for quarterbacks, right? With 189 yards or something in a game. Why don't teams, this is what the Steelers did last year, which really boggled my mind. He's not your franchise quarterback. Let him run the football. Let him run the ball 9 or 10 times.
Run a college offense.
Put it in the system like the Ravens did the first 2 years for Lamar. Make him run 9 times a game on purpose, right? Then hand the ball off to Breece Hall. Then throw a couple passes to Wilson. Yeah, like you said, Dave, if Wilson gets 4 or 5 a game, their tight end gets 3 or 4, and then he, 15, 16 passes a game, 30 rushes a game, 40 rushes a game, do it. Because your defense is great. right? Keep the score low, run the ball so that the clock winds down so your defense is fresh, and let Justin Fields be dangerous. Don't turn him into an NFL like all-time passing leader. Let him run. Let him run. Like, yeah, I can't understand.
And who's their number 2 wide receiver? It was kind of a joke, right? Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
Right. What made Alan Lazard great in Green Bay?
He's one of the best blocking wide receivers in the NFL.
Exactly.
That's why he has a job, not because he's a great wide receiver. He's an amazing blocker. He's a really good blocker. He actually blows up people because he's so big. So, like, yeah, Dave, you're right. Use it. If the Jets play that kind of smash mouth football, I can see them winning 8, maybe 9 games, right?
They should be like the Niners when they had Kaepernick. Kaepernick, everyone thought was great, but it was only because he had a simple offense and he ran the ball. You know, once he had to start reading the defense fully, he didn't do so great.
Yeah, Kaepernick, look at his stats, 190, 75. Like 190 passing yards, 75 rushing yards is what you wanted out of Kaepernick.
You got to the Super Bowl with that.
Yeah, that's what you want out of Fields is get the offense 300 yards, 200 at most through the air, right? 150 and 150 is ideal, right? 150 rushing, 150 passing is ideal for this Jets offense. That's what I think they should be doing.
Yeah, because what did they have? They had an offensive line and a defense. What does Baltimore have? They have an offensive line and a defense.
Yep.
That is what Lamar, and they gave Lamar 3-4 years for the runway.
Yeah.
And now for Fields, this is actually not a bad situation, which is why, I have them winning, 5 out of 7 games.
Yeah.
And they, it's a good way to end the season. What's that?
You haven't beaten the Cowboys.
That'll be a shootout. That'll be early enough. Who knows? Because Dallas's defense might not be in place. He might not be able to take that on. So there's the second half. I think they can really build something for the next year. It'll be Aaron Glenn giving them time. So it's an interesting. I was all about piling on Justin Fields for the last 4 years, completely honest. But I think
what's funny, guys,
he is a good choice.
Is that we all have them being terrible in the first 5 weeks of the season. Doug has 0 wins. I've got 1. Dave's got 1. Now, Aaron Glenn's a new coach. We don't know what he's going to look like, but like the rest of the schedule, like I said, isn't terrible. If they come out of that first 6 games, like say they get to the Carolina game and they got 3 wins already instead of the 1, guess what, Dave? Your 7-win team's a 10-win team. My 6-win team's a 9-win team, right? And so like they could be a playoff team. Like if the Jets are a 9-win team, I actually won't be shocked. But if the Jets are a 3-win team, I actually don't think I'll be shocked. Do you know what I mean? How are they going to use Justin Fields, and how are they going to run this offense, and are they going to let the defense be the team identity, which is exactly what it should be. It should be the team identity, which is why bringing in Aaron Rodgers and changing that identity completely screwed you for 2 years. And hopefully you learned your lesson. So, yeah, I think Aaron Glenn's going to be a good coach. I just want to see what they do with Justin Fields before I have any faith in him. I need to see Justin Fields run the ball a bunch, and then I'll be like, okay, this team could be tough, right?
But I do want him as my QB2 on our Super Flex League.
Hey, man, fantasy. Justin Fields a great fantasy quarterback, which we'll talk about some other times.
He'll get you 1,000 yards. Yep. Moving on.
Moving on to the New England Patriots. And Mike Vrabel coming back home to New England with some weapons now on offense. We all thought they had a really good draft. They didn't have a ton of wins last year. I think they finished with 7. So I don't have them having a ton more wins, because I think their schedule is a little more difficult this year, and because I still need to see what Vrabel's going to do with that defense. I think their defense was up and down a lot last year, and if he solidifies that defense, this Patriots team could be good, because Drake May is to me very much like a Tua kind of guy, where like he's not going to carry you, but he can at times, and he has that potential to win a game or two for you, like out of his pocket. But he should more be distributing to talent, and New England didn't have any. And now they got a little bit. So maybe
they got better, Kyle Williams, who was kind of like the underdog guy in the draft for some people.
Right.
That could have been a top of the 2nd round draft pick.
And Henderson is an absolute beast as a running back. Like, he's not a guy that's going to just grind out 20 runs for 90 yards. He's going to run the ball 12 times, and 4 of them are probably going to be for a yard or 2, but he's going to hit those 12, 20, 30 yarders every now and then and move that offense down the field. And they haven't had that electricity of like agility and speed on the Patriots. I don't even remember when, like their 3rd Super Bowl, maybe.
Like, it's been a long time. I think that's going to do more of a bell cow back system.
Well,
do you think
that Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator has me a little bit nervous about Henderson. I think he can be great, but I kind of see him going in the James White role because McDaniels always had that, 2 or 3 running backs. He always had the passing guy. Sure. Stevenson's a jackhammer. And unfortunately, Drake Mays, one of his weaknesses in college at North Carolina was his accuracy on those dump offs. Yeah. We don't know if it's a lack of focus, but his accuracy wasn't there. No one could figure out. Yeah. Hopefully he's able to get that fixed. If he does, Henderson can be a beast. If he still has that little hiccup, he can still develop the yips. It's way too early to know. Hopefully he gets over it.
I'd like to see Henderson get 12 touches and 5 of them be catches and 7 be runs. I'd be totally fine with that because you want that guy out in open space. You know what I mean? So if you're dumping it off to him like the James White role, like Henderson's so quick and agile that like that's what you want him. That's where you want him to get the football, right? Mm-hmm. And so and with Kyle Williams, and they also picked up Diggs, which let me say this too, because Diggs is kind of the death sometimes of some of these offenses because he demands the football and this and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. So like one of the reasons why I wasn't super high on the Patriots either is that like I don't know, Diggs, I'm not saying he's a pariah because he's been on really good teams. The Bills were good. Houston was good when he was there. But it's like they never quite reached the level that they should on offense, right? And so I don't know what that's going to look like. But I do think that Vrabel is going to tighten up this defense and try to run the ball a little more. But I kind of agree with you too, Dave. Like
I see what you did there. Going to tighten up.
Yeah, tighten it up.
What did they do in with the Titans? He had A.J. Brown as his number 1 wide receiver, and they fed him the ball, and they fed him the ball, and they fed him the ball.
That's true.
There's no reason. What was the problem with Diggs in Buffalo? He didn't get all of the targets. Now he's a little bit older. You don't know about the other options, but that kind of a scheme could work. He's older. He might not be quite the guy he was, but he could be. You just funnel it to him.
Yeah,
dump it off to Henderson.
He did give him 9 wins, which means Stephon Diggs is going to be happy. Like,
but Diggs is not an A.J. Brown.
The team.
Like massive human, I can catch the ball anywhere I want to kind of wide receiver.
He's kind of fallen off in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and AJ Brown's just a different kind of cat, dude. Like there's like Terrell Owens and those kind of guys.
Number 2 right
the
now.
Big, massive, strong, quick guys. Like there's not many of those guys. So I see why they fed it to AJ Brown. I don't see that happening with Diggs. Not in a McDaniels offense anyway. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's like a wide receiver 2 now. I think what I mean. Like.
I mean, maybe we'll see how it turns out for the Patriots.
But what I do think grade from PFF last year, he got like a 79, which is pretty good.
I do think Vrabel's going to have him in pretty much every game, and I do think that they're going to win some they shouldn't, and maybe lose a few they shouldn't. But like the Patriots are a team where, give Vrabel a year or 2 or 3, like they're going to be like challenging for playoff wins and maybe AFC championship games and stuff, because I do think Vrabel's a very good coach. And I think he gets a lot out of players that maybe don't have top tier talent. And right now that's where the Patriots are. They have talented players, but there's only a couple guys on their team that I would say are like top tier talent players, like in Gonzalez and that sort of stuff. But I think Vrabel's going to make them really tough and competitive. And, they're going to be boring to watch. Just kidding. Maybe.
I'm really shocked that Stephon Diggs has almost an 80 PFF grade this last year. I mean,
he's not a bad wide receiver, but is he a true number 1 still? Maybe. It's hard for me.
He's not a field stretcher like he was.
Not like he was. No.
Yeah, not he's more of a possession guy, but that can be good enough with a young quarterback.
You know what's funny is I got the Patriots starting off really strong and then kind of fading away because of the Stephon Diggs effect. Because you can see I got him starting to point that out
4-0, and then
I got him starting strong
straight.
But fading toward the end of the season because of the Stephon Diggs effect. I don't know. I just think that's a thing. Maybe I'm making it up in my head, but I still think they're going to be a good football team. I just don't think this is the year they make the playoffs. I think maybe next year is the year they make the playoffs. So, but 1 win here or there, they could absolutely get in. Chief, you got them at 9. Dougie only at 6 though. Why only 6 for you, Hype?
Well, I really don't like Stephon Diggs because his whole career, like, what was he on the Vikings before? He's always been we're living in an age now where we don't want Antonio Brown's on the team because teams don't want distractions. The Patriots might be able to handle it. So maybe I might think about giving them some more wins and potential after their draft being good and stuff, but I just don't believe in Drake May and their offense that much. I don't think their defense can carry them to more than 6 wins. with Vrabel being there, I just don't see it. There's a lot of good teams that they have to play. And I just don't see it happening. A lot of these young rookies might contribute, but I think it's going to take time for them to figure out this team. You see, the first half of the season, I only have them getting 2 wins, but in the second half, they get 4. So I feel like they're going to gel at some point, and Vrabel will make them into like a decent team.
Yeah, no, me and you are the opposite. Like I got them starting strong, and then I got them losing to New Orleans and Cleveland. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know what the Patriots are going to be, and I had to find wins for teams otherwhere, and like. I just don't see the Patriots making the playoffs this year, but I do see them being competitive. And I think they're going to hit a wall at some point. And I think it's more McDaniel's offense than anything else, if I'm being honest.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, because like Brady running McDaniel's offense is a lot different than any other quarterback running McDaniel's offense. And you guys have seen it in other places, and it doesn't work. And it hasn't worked anywhere.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It really hasn't.
No, it's only worked for Brady. And guess what? Brady's offense worked everywhere Brady went. Surprise, surprise. So, yeah.
Oh, did you see what happened when he went down to Tampa Bay?
Yeah, he ran his own offense.
He got 40 points a game instead of just the 28.
No, credit to the guy. Like, I don't think McDaniels is this offensive genius that people think he is. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And I think teams are going to catch up with them, and I think they're going to fall off. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the Patriots do, but I do think they're going to be good next year, and I think Vrabel was the right hire. I think that was a good hire for the Patriots for sure.
Yeah, I believe in Mike Vrabel, but just not enough with Drake May and Josh McDaniels and Stephon Diggs. It's just like a recipe for weird stuff to happen.
Yeah. Which is why we have all this random wins. Like I got a 4-win streak. Dave's got one a few weeks later. Doug's got him winning 4 every other game at the end of the year. Like we're all over the place with the Patriots because they're a hard team to figure out where they're at right now in their evolution. Like, are they on the cusp of a playoff team? Are they a playoff team? Are they still a bad team? Right. I mean, because they were picking, what did they pick last year? 5th overall? Where'd Will Campbell go?
Yeah.
5, right?
Yeah. 5.
Well, so they weren't very good. You know,
teams also have more fucking film on Drake May and stuff now. People talk about sophomore slump. You know, he might do even worse this year. So, like, I don't know, man. A lot of question marks for me for the Patriots.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. It's like I don't think they're going to be terrible, but it's hard for me to figure out what kind of football team they are and how long that's going to sustain. But I think Vrabel will right the ship at some point. So, well, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got for our totals, guys. Where do we think everybody's going to finish? So, Hype, you're at 12-5 on the Bills. Chiefs at 13-5. I'm at 13-4. Obviously, I put that in wrong. There's not 18 games in the season. The Bills will finish 13-4 for not 13-5, unless they get some weird psychedelic.
We're just going to say they're the first playoff game as well.
Yeah, Dave's caught in their playoff game. Oh, that's rough, but kind of true. And then Doug Hype's got 6-11 on the Dolphins, Patriots 4-13 on the Jets.
Not looking good for them.
Not really a lot of faith in the AFC East. And honestly, I understand they're not a tough division yet. Maybe they'll get there. The Chiefs got 9-8 on the Patriots, 7-10 on the Jets, 6-11 on the Dolphins. I'm 8-9 on the Patriots, 7-10 on the Jets, 7-10 on the Dolphins, 6-11 on the Jets. So very similar there. Just kind of a few games here and there.
Just for something a little bit different, let's talk about what do we think about the level of coaching in this conference?
In the AFC, or talking just the AFC East?
AFC East.
I think McDermott's good, but he's not winning the playoffs, so I'm not going to give him credit as a great coach because I think Josh Allen drags them to so many victories. But I do think he's a good defensive mind, and their defense has been okay. But I don't know what McDermott is yet because they fall apart in the playoffs, and I put that on him. Mike McDaniels is the greatest coach that ever existed.
On a disc golf course. I want to go disc golfing with the man.
Yeah, I just want to hang out with the dude.
A lot of coaches, you're like, I want to have a beer with him. I'm like, no, McDaniels, I want to toss some disc, man.
I don't. McDaniels too. Like I think he's done a lot to improve the offense, but the overall team, I think some of it's on him for their inconsistency, but a lot of it's on Tua injuries. And the GM hasn't done him a ton of favors. They've done all these big contracts that maybe didn't work out, and it's just kind of put them in a really tough spot. But I do think McDaniels has potential to be a good coach. I think he has a ways to go, though. I think he's not there yet.
Is he one of those where, like Cliff Kingsbury, where he's a better coordinator than a coach?
I don't think so. Kingsbury never had a winning season. Like at least McDaniels had a winning season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing though is that I think he's a really good coach in general, but the problem is he's like a one of the guys type coach, and sometimes it doesn't work with teams like Miami, right? Especially like
no, you're right. But if you look at his record with Tua playing healthy and without Tua, like he's pretty good when Tua's healthy.
That's why I'm
right?
saying like things kind of fall apart if it's not all going well. You know what I mean?
Well, if you lose your starting quarterback, things fall apart. That's the NFL.
That is true. You know? But I mean, he could get somebody else. Tua's been his guy that he's tried to go with. So you know what I mean? Like
that's the GM and the owner.
But look at the Browns head coach though. They lost their starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they plugged in a quarterback that nobody wanted because they thought he had aged out, and they go on a playoff run.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between a great head coach and an offensive coordinator.
But the thing about
Stefanski gets you to the playoffs.
McDaniels is a thing though. Like every time he talks about Tua, he says, "No, this is the quarterback I need for my system. This is who I want. Tua is the guy I want." He literally is the biggest Tua supporter in the universe. So like, I'm sure that if unless behind closed doors it's different, the GM's not going like, "Oh, I need a different quarterback."
Well, McDaniels is smart. Like everybody questions whether Tua is good. Like it's his job to make sure that Tua is good. He needs to talk up to it. That's his job. That's smart of him. Like I got no problem with him.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that like the situation. Because
what's he supposed to say? Get me a new guy on TV? That's never.
Then shouldn't he have pushed for them to get a better backup quarterback than quarterback 0 this year?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair
point.
Again, that's up to the GM, guys. He's not the GM. Like he's not the GM. So I'm not going to blame him for that. I think the Dolphins roster is a mess.
We're now changing this category to the McDaniels neckbeard.
Yeah. Sorry, category. Man. I love Mike McDaniel.
We're just going to put his logo next to
I mean, that basically, I have a great picture of him when he's got his glasses on. And
we need to fix this graphic and just put a Mike McDaniel.
All right. Well, let's move on to, I think, who we agree is the best coach in the division, which is Vrabel. I mean, he's been to a championship game. Yes, it's been a while, but some of those Titans teams he had were just not that great. And he got them a lot more wins than they deserved, and everybody knows
no business being.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I think he's going to do really well in New England. I think he needs a year or two though to get this roster up to speed.
Yeah,
but I think he's definitely better than McDermott. And I don't think McDermott's a bad coach, but like I've seen Vrabel get to levels that like he shouldn't have got to with the talent on his team. And with the talent on the Bills, it's almost like they haven't reached those levels, even though they should have. Do you know what I mean? So I got to give more credit to Vrabel, but I think McDermott's got potential to go farther this year. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Vrabel's definitely the best coach in the division right now.
And Aaron Glenn?
I think Aaron Glenn's going to be, dude, the job he did with that defense with basically hiring guys that, you know, that were working at Goodwill. Yeah, and then came to play defense. Like they weren't great, but they sure as heck were competitive, and they sure as heck played hard, man. And
they played hard. Yeah,
that's part of the Dan Campbell culture as well. But Aaron Glenn is a big part of that. He's a smart guy. I think he's going to do well. But it is the Jets, guys. So like, is this the death of Aaron Glenn as a head coach? Who knows? Like,
yes.
Right? Who knows?
Well, did you hear the exit interview they had with Aaron Rodgers, where like they were even more toxic than Aaron Rodgers was?
I think that's the right way to approach Aaron Rodgers, though. I actually give them kudos.
But they could have just been like, "Hey, buddy, see you later," you know? Bye. But they had to do all this thing about it, an egomaniac level, which makes me really question Aaron Glenn's like leadership ability.
I know. I think
Aaron Rodgers complaining about an egomaniac is rich.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. Is that they looked worse than him? Which is how do you do that?
Well, that's if you listen to Aaron's version of the story.
Yeah,
realistically, no I'm optimistic about Aaron Glenn. So the rest of the organization might be a mess, and they may have finally realized, hey, you know, we did good back in 18 and 19 when we let the football guys make the decisions. We got ourselves a football guy. We'll just see what he can do. I think I'm optimistic for the. I think that
they'll have a good defense. Probably.
This is a weak division this year. I think next year could be pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, like
I think it'll be an interesting year.
Salah's a similar guy who's a great defensive coordinator, right? But it just didn't work out. But then after they got rid of him, the team completely fell apart. So I'm expecting like Salah level stuff this year.
Honestly, I thought Robert Saleh was a decent coach, and you know, I'm not defending. Yeah, I'm not defending him.
He just
getting
didn't win a lot
fired.
of games, but
he should have gotten fired. But like, dude, he had Zach Wilson, and then prima donna Aaron Rodgers like playing terrible and thinking he was still good. I'm sorry, like he did a lot with a terrible quarterback situation. Absolutely awful. The Jets at least understand this. Every franchise has a bit of an identity. The Jets win when they play good defense, right? So they got Saleh. Now they got Glenn. They're sticking with defensive guys. I like that. I think Fields will do better for them. But, the Jets have had a quarterback deficiency since Joe Namath. Chad Pennington, Brett Favre.
You know what's crazy is Joe Namath was only good for like a 1 year. He
has and that's all it takes. But dude, the Jets have not had a good quarterback in a very, very long time. A very, 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 very long
Vinny
time.
Testaverde actually might be their best quarterback they ever had.
Yeah, Vinny Testaverde.
No,
he was okay. He was okay.
This is rich. So we got 2 Packer fans, and they're forgetting that Favre played there in 2008.
He played there for 1 year, and he was
not even a whole year. He got hurt 3/4 of the way through.
Dude, once we trade him away, they don't belong to us anymore.
We're talking about a quarterback that's your franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I'm saying as a Jets quarterback, who was the best, not who was the best quarterback to play for the Jets, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. So
literally, Joe Namath has more picks than he has touchdowns in his career. So they just have a bad history.
Right. And Sanchez might be their most successful outside of Namath because he went to 2 AFC championship games, but everybody knows that was the defense. Do you know what I mean? Everybody knows, right? And so
it's just the butt fumble.
Yeah, but I think the Jets understand that this defense is good. They need a defensive guy. They brought in a different quarterback. I like the direction they're going, but it really depends on the Madden ratings next year to see who they pick up. So
no, he went off to college.
Oh, okay.
The
he can still call.
Teenage son went off to college.
He can still call and tell him who to take off of Madden.
This division might be terrible, but they make us very chatty. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. This is an interesting division because everyone knows the Bills are going to win it, but the next 3 teams are a complete crapshoot of who's better, who's going to be terrible, who's going to be good. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams made the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they all finished with less than 6 wins either. That's kind of where they're at. It's just one of them needs to get hot or figure out that identity because they're all in flux right now.
But
what do you think are the odds that the Bills don't win the division? Do you think that's what percentage?
3%. Okay, if Josh Allen gets hurt, 10%. I think the Bills with their backup quarterback are still better than
still going to win the division.
But if Josh Allen stays healthy, 3%.
What if Mike Vrabel's team just all of a sudden starts playing well and they beat the Bills twice?
That's the only team that I can see beating the Bills.
That could happen.
The Patriots win 11 games and the Bills only win 10 or something because they just have bad luck.
And then they beat them twice.
Maybe, but I'm still saying 3%. I'm saying it's extremely unlikely, but it could happen. But
it's fun to think about.
Extremely unlikely.
You believe that Mitchell Trubisky will bring them back? Okay.
Is he the backup in the middle?
Watch Mitchell Trubisky go 5-0.
If Mitchell Trubisky is on the Bills, yes, that's exactly what will happen.
He is their backup, Doug. And they paid him pretty well for a backup. They want him around.
It's going to be him versus Justin Fields, baby. You know what I mean?
Dude, a Mitchell Trubisky, Justin Fields showdown needs to happen.
Caleb Williams in Miami in 2028.
And dude, you have to realize Josh Allen doesn't have to get hurt. It could be one of the games late in the season.
And they're just shitting Josh Allen? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, I want to see that so bad. I want to see that now so bad.
They play in the last game of the season. It could be Josh Allen in that game. And Mitchell Trubisky instead of Josh Allen.
That's why you picked him to win, Doug, because Mitchell Trubisky is going to start that game, huh? Okay. Okay.
Right. We got I see where you're at. Cause of it.
I see where you're at.
He's going to get his vindication and beat Mitchell Trubisky finally in the game. But now that I remember he's a backup, I need to change that. I should be changing that for Trubisky to win.
Now,
I think we got it down to a Bear quarterback versus Bear quarterback draft pick. I think that's a fantastic way to end this. It's been a phenomenal episode. Technical difficulties, everything else. Let's go Trubisky.
If you're
versus
still watching
Fields,
this episode, you deserve to be on the Olympic flag football team. Okay.
Yes. We're going to pick next time, guys. We're going to pick 10 players for the flag football team. We're going to tell you how the rules work as far as we know and what we think the strategy might be. Everybody's kind of doing it, but from what I've seen, guys, the strategy should be a little bit different than what most people think. But hey, that's why it's foosball. We're gonna do things different. If you've watched this
whole episode up until now, please put a comment below because you will now be our OG number one fan in the world. Okay, you're gonna get a plaque. Maybe a trophy.
We went like 15 minutes over on this episode than what we normally do for these predictions. And like, I think half of it was us talking about John Madden.
That's kind of what
Nicolas Cage. So it's that kind of episode. You're welcome, AFC East. You're welcome.
And Nick Cage definitely inspired this.